Tell me when. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Skip Barber Championship here at the UK&I Club. Tonight it's Rachel Whiteford standing in for Chris and Matt Dalton, and I'm afraid it's a very short notice and change, so you're going to have to bear with me. Tonight we're meeting at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Circuit, and you're joining us just at the end of qualifying due to some technical issues we've had. The race is going to be 16 laps, so roughly in the region of 35 minutes of racing tonight. Final cars are just out on track putting in their qualifying times. At the moment we have George Streetley at the top with a 1:36.387. Behind him are the usual suspects, Sebastian Jobe, Mark Mercer and Tom Ward, with Blake Townsend in 5th. The grid seems pretty shaken up tonight, with some people who are usually close to the front mixed around between the top 5 and 15, so it should make for an interesting race. Having just been watching the practice and qualifying sessions, it has been a real struggle for drivers to get actual space on track to get a hot lap, with cars on average 2 to 3 seconds apart at the best. So should be an interesting one tonight. Just got the last 30 seconds on the qualifying session, and things don't seem to be likely to change. The cars should be gridding up any moment now. Just a quick talk through of the circuit. Mid-Ohio is quite a windy track. It's a very technical course for the Skip Barber car, with some difficult places to pass and some very challenging aspects to the circuit itself. Of course, the first right-hand left corner leading to a short drag down to a hairpin with a long back straight. Then we have a wiggly, twisty section, which is somewhat akin to the likes of the Maggots and Beckett section and the twisty part at the beginning of section 1 of the Circuit of the Americas, so should make for some challenging passing in that area. The cars are on the grid with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go before we start moving. The twistiness and the technicality of the track should really lend to some interesting racing tonight. Unfortunately, my co-host, Matt Dalton, is racing tonight, so we shall have to interview him after the race. But at this time, as I said, I'm on my own. So please bear with me, folks. Tonight, lined up on the grid, we have 45 cars listed. 42, I believe, will be actually taking part in tonight's race. Usual suspects are Streetley, Jobe, Mercer, Townsend, Maycock, and the others will all be taking part in tonight's race, and they're taking to the grid. I believe, once again, like last week, we're without Mr. Grillo, so hope he rejoins us soon. So just again, your top 10 on the grid is George Streetley, followed by Sebastian Jobe on the outside. Second row, Mark Mercer, Tom Ward, Stuart Adcock, Townsend, Tim Aycock, the brother, Adcock, Maycock, Marcus Hamilton, and Rob Green. Okay, we're 5 seconds now to the green lights. Here we go, the engines are revving up, and we're waiting for the lights.
Green flag.
Let's go racing, guys. Here we go. And Jobe tucks in behind Streetley, followed closely behind by Mark Mercer. We seem to have some sort of first lap kerfuffle going on already. We're probably owing to the fact that the grid stretches around at least 3 corners at this time. Oh, they're all off on the exit of 2. Big crash involving about 15 cars. Dalton's carnageometer must be ticking over in his absence. From what I can see, hard to tell numbers, but about 8 to 10 cars were involved in that one on the exit of turn 1. Terrible so early. Up at the front, George Streetley and Sebastian Jobe are neck and neck with Streetley on the outside, as they run down to turn 4. And I think Streetley is going to get the line. Yes, Streetley has the line on him, but Jobe's sticking to his outside. Will Jobe manage to take him on the inside into turn 5? No, he doesn't. He just backs out. Oh, nice driving, though, by Sebastian Jobe. Behind them, Mark Mercer's tucking in quite closely, following them up the run to turn 7. Front pack of about 6 cars, still quite closely placed, with a bit of a gap back to Jonathan Maycock in 8th place. But behind that, the field seems to be stringing out quite nicely, as looks to be quite a long race. Unfortunately, we have quite a number of cars in the pits at this time, so that's unfortunate. Pack at the front is winding out a little bit, and I believe Sebastian Job has got past Streetley, so Sebastian Job will be our leader on the first lap as he crosses the line heading for turn 1. Townsend is tucked in Townend is tucked in 4th, ahead of him Mercer. Those two seem to have left a bit of a gap between them and the first 2 cars. Oh, Townend has a bit of a wobble as he touched the grass on the outside of turn 1. That seems to be the killer today, guys. Further back down, we have Jonathan Maycock following closely behind us, tracking him. Stuart Adcock, his brother, and Tom Ward. Vittorio Saltamacchia, a guy who's been doing quite well in recent races, is tucked in down in 22nd place. He's running 12 seconds off the leaders at this time, and he's just making a pass on Bobby Bramley. Coming down the outside into turn 4. Is he going to get the breaking point, though? We'll see. He's coming defensive into the inside, and he takes that place. Oh, no, he's lost it. He's gone across into the grass on the exit of 4. That one's a killer. Back up at the front, Streetley is still tucked in behind Job, doesn't seem to be able to find a way past yet. Mercer's dropping even further back from the 2 lead cars as they battle for position. Sebastian Job seems to be having a leisurely drive out front. He's merely getting away from Streetley and Mercer. Oh, 2 cars sideways on the second to last corner. That is Matt Dalton and Chris Simpson. No, Matt Dalton's managed to get through that one unscathed. Chris Simpson definitely, and I believe Mr. Saltamacchia is heading for the pits. That's tragic news for his race tonight. So that would be Chris Simpson and Vittorio Saltamacchia turning in almost perfect synchronization in the second to last corner. Back up at the front, we have George Streetley, who's making a great run on Sebastian Job under the long toe down the back straight as they approach the breaking point for turn 4. Streetley's still not quite able to manage to find that time just to get himself closer to Job. Mercer's now 1.2 seconds behind the 2 lead cars. The gap seems to be opening up each lap. Townend, however, seems to be closing up on Mercer, so those second and third place could be changing shortly. Riding on board at the moment with Matt Dalton down in 24th place. He's currently running 18.2 seconds off the pace of the leaders, but he's catching the pack in front of him. Cars including Phil Jocelyn, Alex Laidlaw, Bradley Vanian, and Bobby Bramley, who was involved in that early tussle with Saltamacchia. Drivers seem to be getting quite excited with each other on the in-race comms, and blame is flying back and forth about many of the little incidents that have been going so far. Oh, at the front, Streetley's slid the back end a little bit. Sorry, I'm wrong there. Job has slid the back end coming out of 2, and that's allowed Streetley to come back up on his gearbox as they run down the back straight. 0.3 seconds separating the 2 of them, and will Streetley be looking for a dive down the inside under braking into 4? We're about to find out. No, Streetley's backed out of it and he's following him for now. Job's made a mistake. And run a bit wider, and that's allowing Streetley to really follow him now. I think the pressure being felt by Job is about to take its toll. Mercer and Townend have caught up with the lead two cars whilst they've been battling. I really think Job is holding Streetley up. I wonder if he can get past him and make his break, make some separation between the other cars. Quite a chain of cars through the top 10, all of them separated by 7 seconds up to place 13. We seem to have 3 distinct packs forming so far in the race, with the front 13 cars, followed by 14th position to about 30th place, and from there back, cars are about a minute down off the leaders. So 3 distinct packs running around, very close to each other. Cars split between tenths of a second, following in a bit of a conga line. Up at the front, Streetley has closed the gap to 0.26 seconds. And Streetley goes wide, Job goes wide again, and 2, allowing Streetley to get right up alongside him. I think this time he might be able to get past him in 4, although Job has gone defensive on the inside line, running along past the little kink in the back straight. Streetley is on the outside now, and he's drawing level with Job. Will he be able to get that advantage into braking, or is Streetley going to give it a place? Nope, Streetley's managing to hold that place and go straight through. Job's tucked in behind him and gone wide again. Oh, nice move there by George Streetley, taking first position. Mercer and Townend have tucked up right behind Job now, who's finally succumbed to the pressure that Streetley's been keeping on him for the last couple of laps. And Daniel Hunt has just passed Ashley Blakely for 16th position, slightly further back down the field. Nice move there on the exit of turn 8. Certainly not a passing place I'd like to use. Heading back up to the front now, and George Streetley is going to finally complete a lap as race leader, having started this race on the pole. He's managed to open that gap up slightly now, only slightly though, with 0.29 seconds advantage over Sebastian Job in second place. Mark Mercer's brought that time down now from what was a trailing 1.2 seconds up to 0.5 of a second from Job. So the front pack getting closer and closer, although Job seems to be making quite a few mistakes tonight and losing the back end slightly as he tries to catch Streetley. Perhaps the pressure's getting to him tonight. Townend is tucked back in 4th place, just keeping a watchful eye on the lead cars as Mark Mercer makes a run down the inside of Streetley and Job towards turn 4. Oh no, the cars hold position with Streetley in first, although no, the leaders are very close. Job's just touched Streetley's wheels. 2 cars kissing briefly before they part like ships in the night. And that's really brought Mercer into contention here as he follows the 2 dueling lead cars. Townend is tucked up right on the back of Mercer. Stuart Adcock following just behind them, 2 seconds from the lead pack of 4 cars. Job is really desperate to get that first position back now as he's really putting pressure on George Streetley. Mark Mercer is holding station at the moment, and Townend just behind him. Job has got the inside line and he's trying to get parallel right now with George Streetley for first position as he runs towards turn 1. And Sebastian Job has the inside line and he takes... Oh no! He had the inside line, but Streetley's gone round the outside of him to hold first position. This is some brilliant racing up front. That costly move by Sebastian Job will also cost him second place as Mark Mercer runs up his inside into turn 2. And Job has lost the back end. Job is round at the exit of turn 2. Cars going round him, barely missing his car. That was a costly mistake. All down to his very, very sharp exit of turn 1. He, rather than following the normal racing line, which I'm sure you know, opens the corner up as much as possible. Running on the inside of Streetley into turn 1, he's compromised his entrance, and with Streetley keeping station, also his exit of that corner. Hasn't settled his car, and after running up the hill, too much for him. And that finds Sebastian Job down in the mid-pack at the high top end of the top 10 cars. Up at the front, new leader change. Mark Mercer's managed to get past Streetley. in turn 5, and he's now running off with only 100 separating the two lead cars. Blake Tannend is 0.7 behind Streetley. He could well be in contention for passing the veteran racer George Streetley. Second pack forming from 5th back to 11th as the cars cross the line, and we'll see any changes in the lead. Yep, Mark Mercer leading by 0.25 seconds from George Streetley. Blake Townend following him up, Tom Ward, Jonathan Maycock, Tim Adcock, Marcus Hamilton, Raymond Norris, and Sebastian Jobe rounding out the top 10. Costly mistake for Jobe in the early stages of that last lap, costing him a whole 10 positions. Race leader back to 10th, and he's now 9 seconds behind the lead cars. I wonder if he'll be able to recover that. Streetley's making his textbook move down on the run towards turn 4 as he gets outside of Mercer, drawing past him. Will he be able to hold this one under braking as he gets outside the Club 100 car? No, Mark Mercer gets straight past him and takes the line. Streetley's coming back at him again in turn 5 as they run up and over the crest of the blind corner. And no, he can't seem to find a way past again. Maybe next lap. Blake Townend using that distraction to catch up on the lead 2 cars as he follows patiently behind, waiting for him to make another mistake. Wonder if George Streetley or Mark Mercer will make another mistake under pressure like Jobe. Cost him so many places. We'll see. Jobe at the moment in 10th place still, coming up on the back of Raymond Norris, the number 9th place car, who's currently behind Marcus Hamilton. Both of them running well, although Raymond Norris just has a little wobble. Coming into the final corner, it allows Jobe to close up behind him. That could be a position change shortly. Okay, up at the front, and Streetley is right on the gearbox of Mark Mercer as they run out of the exit of turn 2. Both following almost identical lines as Streetley comes out wide as he tries to get level with the car of Mark Mercer. Will it make a difference in turn 2? I don't think so, no. Mercer has the line once again, allowing Streetley to run round and try and take a tighter exit on turn 2. No, he can't make a difference. But this will give him the tow down the back straight, and we could see a change in 4th corner. We got a car off on the exit of turn 2. I wonder who that is. Just going to find out for you. Get our pit lane reporter to tell me. I can't seem to think who that is. No, that was to have been possibly Bobby Bramley back in 19th place. Unlucky. Back up at the front, Streetley's really harassing the back of Mark Mercer's Club 100 car. He's really getting up there and really making aggressive moves towards the blue car of Mark Mercer. Mr. Streetley is now moving up, getting right up behind him on the entrance to the penultimate corner. A sharp fast left-hander. And the drivers are getting quite animated again on the driver comms with Keith Sharp using some choice language in his lovely Northern Irish accent. I wonder what that was. George Streetley still not quite able to find his way past. And I think the choice language was due to Mr. Sharp's retirement from this race, or at least trip to the pits. I wonder who did that to him. Streetley's dropping back now. He's nearly 0.4 of a second behind Mark Mercer as they run up into turn 2. Blake Townend is barely 0.3 behind Streetley, so they're really still very close at the front of the pack. The whole grid at the moment is spread out over about 1 minute and 30 seconds, so nearly a full lap separating the field. This should mean the leaders will be coming up on some lap traffic shortly. That will really make it interesting between Streetley and Mercer. Hopefully that will bring Adcock and Townend into contention for the lead as the two front cars get held up in traffic. How fast they'll get past them will be the key to success. In fact, just in the distance I can see 2 lap cars, so leaders soon to be coming up upon that traffic. Blake Townend, former champion, is really closing up on the back wheels of Mr. George Streetley as they run up into the penultimate corner. and complete this next lap. Back in the high teens, mid-20s, the cars are quite close together. There's a lot of jostling for position in the mid-pack. Quite a distance back from the leaders as they run up front. Just riding on board with Tom Stanley in the 961 car back in 25th place, running behind a small pack of cars who are getting very close to each other, very aggressive driving. Stanley's quite cautious as he follows these cars, probably hoping to avoid any ensuing wreckage. Oh, how we missed the carnageometer. Up at the front and turn 4. Streetley's favourite passing position, and he's just managed to squeeze Mr. Mercer, but no, not enough. Mercer holds on to that place, although we've got a smoking car up ahead. Need to find out who that car belongs to. That's the car of Fakim Antonadayas. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. That's my fault. And his car is smoking quite heavily, but he's going to really hold up the front traffic. No, Mercer gets right round wide him, followed by Streetley, Townend, and Adcock tucking in right behind him. Front 4 cars. Oh no, Adcock's held up. No, he managed to get past the car, smoking car of Fakim. Let's just call him you Fakim. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name. Not this quickly, at least. And Townend, he's back up on the grill of Streetley. No, stuck to him like glue. Matt Dalton, our co-commentator and now racer, is apologising to somebody for something. Let's have a look what Matt's been up to. Oh, Matt's cutting the grass as he runs wide out of onto the Westfield Insurance Straight. Running up into the penultimate corner now. Losing the front pack ahead of him, which is Alex Laidlaw, Bobby Bramley and Mark Hewitt running ahead of him. Although still quite a good distance from Steve Mayle behind him. Back up the front, Streetley and Mercer still separated by only a couple of tenths of seconds. And Streetley once again is trying on the outside to get quite close together going down into 4th corner. Will Streetley be able to close the door on him? No, Mercer holds the door closed. No, contact between the front 2 cars. That just, Streetley gives Mercer a bit of a nudge to let him know he's still there. As they go too wide through the next series of tight wiggling corners. What racing! Absolute control from these two serious contenders. And George Streetley once again takes the lead. Brilliant driving by Mark Mercer and George Streetley as the two of them show exemplary driving skill in the tightest section of the track. Having raced this section myself, I tell you what, I would not like to get that close to another car in that section. Brilliant car control. Absolute respect for the other racer. Great driving from those two. George Streetley will clock another lap as race leader as we head into the closing stages of this race. He's followed closely behind by Mark Mercer, Blake Townend and Stuart Adcock, trailing a second and a half behind the lead 3 cars. Podium positions could well be sealed today, folks. Oh, Blake Tanner making a move on Streetley and Mercer. Streetley and Mercer defending against each other's own moves. And Blake Townend sneaks past the 2 battling cars into the lead. What a move by Blake Townend. Streetley and Mercer side by side defending against one another's moves as they approach turn 4. Cheeky Blake Townend sneaks past them both on the inside. What a move. Brilliant driving from Blake Townend there. Although Mercer's hot on his heels, I don't think he liked being used like that. So what's the problem when you get into a close battle with another car? You two focus solely on each other and eventually both slow each other down as you defend, counter-defend, attack. Unfortunately, this leaves the door open for a cheeky competitor, and that cheeky competitor is about to lead his first lap in this race at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Brilliant move there by Townend. He'd been biding his time, sitting just behind the two leaders as they battled it out, finding out where they'd go, watching their positions, watching when they attacked and defended against each other, and he timed that to perfection. Brilliant, brilliant move. Leaders coming up again on some lap traffic at the moment. That traffic is 31st position, Tom Scott. It would seem that all the cars behind them are either not running or have retired. No, we have a few cars running in those back positions, although not many. I think we have the only cars currently on track. Only cars on track at the time are Brendan O'Brien, Ken Bracey, and James Child. I'm sorry, folks. I believe there's some technical time. I hope we're still actually broadcasting, but I'm not certain. I believe we're having video troubles. I think audio is still coming through, so I'll switch into radio commentator mode. At the front, Blake Townend is still in the lead, and he's coming up against the lapped car, or soon-to-be lapped car, of Tom Scott. Followed closely by Mark Mercer and George Streetley. Stuart Adcock and Tom Ward still faithfully hanging onto the back of the lead cars, a second behind them as they close, whilst held up by lap traffic. The car of Tom Scott getting wisely out of the way of the leaders. Perhaps not the best place, but he moves over and lets them pass. As once again, we're running again up to the front. Passing that lap car has allowed Stuart Adcock to really close up on the leaders. He's now closing slowly but surely to within sight of the three fighting lead cars. Mark Mercer has managed to sneak past on the inside of turn 2, but no, Streetley will make a dive down the outside as they approach turn 4. Mercer going defensive on the inside as they approach turn 5. Turn 6, and he goes tight on the inside, blocking Streetley's dive. Blake Townend now back in third place, where he spent most of the race, as Mercer takes turn 7 and 8, now heading back for the Westfield straight. George Streetley all over the back of his car. I think he's trying to give it a wax. Mercer going very defensive on the exit entrance to the final corner, but Townend closing up very quickly behind Streetley, has to check himself on the brakes. Running out onto the final straight, running now across the start-finish line. Mark Mercer will lead the next lap, with things changing quite rapidly up here at the front. Stuart Adcock's now within 0.7 of a second of the three battling lead cars. Three fighting together, obviously slowing each other down, allowing positions 4 and 5 to close up slowly behind them. Adcock and Ward are currently only split by 0.3 of a second, with them a mere 0.7 of a second from Blake Townend's car in third place. We're now on to the final lap, and currently it's Mark Mercer, George Streetley, Blake Townend, Stuart Adcock, Tom Ward, followed by, in 6th place, Jonathan Maycock, Sebastian Jobe, having crawled his way up from his drop to 10th place. Marcus Hamilton in 8th. 9th, Rob Green. 10th, Tim Adcock. Rounding out the top 10. Will this lead change? Oh, George Streetley's going through on the inside of turn 5. Can he close that door on turn 6 and keep Mercer away from the cookie jar? Oh, Mercer's gone defensive, and Townend has come up right behind him. Streetley's gone nice and wide through turn 8, coming onto the Westfield straight. Will he be able to hold this position? I don't think I've seen Mercer fighting for a pass in this last section of the track, but we'll see. This is coming into the close to the line, folks. George Streetley still in the lead, followed by Mark Mercer and Blake Townend. Will he hold it? Lap car in front of Streetley. Oh, this could be a close one. No, Mercer's not got the drive off the final corner. And that's going to be George Streetley takes the win here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in what's been a very close and hard-fought battle for the race. He's followed through by Mark Mercer in second, Blake Townend in third, Tom Ward in fourth, Stuart Adcock in fifth, Jonathan Maycock in sixth, Job in seventh, Hamilton in eighth, Rob Green ninth, Tim Adcock 10th. Other cars in the rest of the field are still coming in across the line as we round out the end of this race. Well, that's been a quite exciting race today, with Streetley, Mercer and Townend dueling out for most of the race up at the front. Townend, a patient contender, spent most of the race following the lead two cars whilst they duked it out for position. He saw his opportunity in the closing laps when Mercer and Streetley were fighting to defend against each other and dove past him on the inside for turn 4. Brilliant piece of driving, but unfortunately unable to hold it as the two other drivers of Mercer and Streetley managed to find their way past him again. Brilliant win there by George Streetley. Some excellent driving from second place Mercer, and definitely some excellent driving from Townend. Unfortunately, quite a few incidents towards the back of the field today, with cars bouncing off each other, the track, and stray wildlife. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Such a big field and such a twisty track. So thank you for coming with us tonight and listening in and watching the race with us here. We'll be back next week at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for round 8 of the Skip Barber Racing Series. Thank you. I've been Rachel Whiteford. Good night.